Void Mage Gamer is now partnered with Flipside Gaming, so you can use the promo code on their website, all caps, Void Mage, to get 10% off all orders $10 or more. It's a great way that you can support both Flipside Gaming and Void Mage Gamer's channel. Hello guys, I know it's been a little while since I made a Commander deck tech video. However, since we're still on Ravnica, I think it's appropriate to go back and do one of my favorite commanders from original Ravnica, Savra, Queen of the Golgari. She got a reprint in the Golgari guild kit, so you get a nice new updated version of her. I just think aesthetically she looks really cool. The artwork's amazing. If you want to play black-green elves and that's your thing, you could most certainly do it with Savra. But for this deck, what I'm going to focus on are her two amazing abilities. A similar reason why I like Teysa Orzhov's Scion. I also had Momir Vig, those other creatures from the original Ravnica block, that they synergized. They had awesome triggers that interacted with a certain creature color, and it was both of the colors in the guild. So for Savra, she did something for black and green creatures. Whenever you sacrifice a black creature, you could pay 2 life. If you do, each other player sacrifices a creature. So that's kind of like a Fleshbag Marauder / Grave Pact effect, whatever you want to call it. And whenever you sacrifice a green creature, you may gain 2 life. So if you get the theme there, you kind of want to do a little bit of both. Obviously, the most powerful one is going to be sacrificing, so you can force your opponents to sacrifice a creature. But don't forget about sacrificing green creatures because you want to be able to make up some of that life you end up paying. Best thing you could probably do is fill your deck with black and green creatures, creatures that are both colors, so you end up breaking even. But whatever you end up choosing, I think just playing good old-fashioned creature control in black and green is the way to go. And what I mean by that is playing things like Caustic Caterpillar, where you can sacrifice them. That's going to satisfy one of Savra's triggers, while also allowing you to destroy an artifact or an enchantment. And if you want to throw in some graveyard recursion, this kind of creature control is pretty good. And we also have things like Fleshbag Marauder, Merciless Executioner, Plague Crafter. This is also going to be pretty disgusting with Savra, because we can also pay 2 life, and force each of our opponents to sacrifice another creature. So this could potentially be a board wipe if you can have multiples of these in a single turn. You want things like Reclamation Sage though, Acidic Slime, creatures with good ETBs. Shriekmaw has the added benefit of if you pay the evoke cost, you can just sacrifice it on the spot. So you're just adding more and more to that removal. So I think that's probably the best way to handle this deck. You want to have some sort of control in addition to your creatures being able to be sacrificed. Another cool thing though is tokens, or just having some sort of way to abuse creatures. Maybe something that can come back over and over again, like a reassembling skeleton. You can sacrifice it over and over again, have it keep coming back, so you have a recurable Fleshbag Marauder in a sense. Ophiomancer is pretty nice because you keep getting that snake back even if you end up sacrificing it at the beginning of each upkeep. We do have things like Endrick Sar, Master Breeder, that can end up getting us a ton of black Thrall creature tokens, but I personally like Creekwood Liege and Izoni Thousand-Eyed because the tokens you get off of these are both black and green, and like I said before, you can just break even and not worry about the life loss. And anytime you can do that while still having the awesome ability off of Savra, I think that's pretty good. But as we do like black creature tokens, sometimes it's good to have green creature tokens, so go ahead and play something like a Mycoloth or an Avenger of Zendikar. Some people might think it's overrated, but being able to gain a ton of life off of sacrificing green creatures, that might be a difference maker late game, you never know. And also think that Mitotic Slime is a pretty good card for this deck, as you get green creature tokens when it dies that give you more green creature tokens, and recurring something like this, while it's not as good as a Wormcoil Engine, it kind of has that similar effect. Keep a board presence up. If your opponents want a board wipe, you still have something out there. Now another important thing to focus on is sacrifice outlets, because you want to be able to get Savra's triggers, and she doesn't sacrifice the creatures on her own. So something like a Viscera Seer, which is also a black creature that can sacrifice itself, is pretty powerful. We also have Bontu the Glorified, Yahenni, Disciple of Bolus, which is going to allow us to draw a bunch of cards, Gerard Golgari Lichlord, Sadistic Hypnotist if you want to punish your opponents with discard. This is one of the nastiest cards in the deck. And if you want some more powerful sacrifice outlets, you could of course go with Ashnod's Altar, Evolutionary Leap to get some more creatures, Attrition for good removal, and Perilous Forays can be really powerful, get you a ton of lands. If you're looking for other ways to sacrifice creatures, Eldritch Evolution is a really underrated card for this deck. It can fetch you something like a Butcher of Malakir or a Shouldered Whispering one pretty easily. If you're just looking for even more ways to sacrifice, Living Death is disgusting because you get a bunch of Savra triggers. In addition to this, you're playing a deck that probably has a bunch of creatures in the graveyard. And if you want something that also synergizes with creatures dying, Journey to Eternity is one of my favorite cards in Golgari. Whatever creature you have enchanted to it that dies, it comes comes back, and this flips Atzal Cave of Eternity, which can then activate its ability for 5 mana. You can then bring back whatever creature card you want to from your graveyard to the battlefield. Very difficult to deal with, but seeing as this deck probably is going to have a lot of creatures end up in the graveyard, it's a perfect card to play. I would also recommend Vraska Golgari Queen as probably the best planeswalker you can throw into this deck. Her +2 literally allows you to sacrifice another permanent, so it could be a good creature, black or green, and in exchange you get 1 life and card draw. She has pretty good removal on her minus, and her ult is a pretty crazy and devastating win con. But overall, guys, that's pretty much the deck. It's not super complicated, it's not outside of the boundaries of what we expect in Golgari, but if you're looking for an old school, maybe underrated commander, Savra Queen of the Golgari is one that I can recommend. If you're sick and tired of seeing the same old Marin decks, or maybe you just want to play the same kind of Golgari style, but maybe not be hated out of a game as quickly, because let's be honest, if someone plays Marin at the table, you're probably going to get someone complaining. The link to this full deck list will be in the description box below, so if you want to check it out, go ahead and do it. Overall, though, I don't think I made this a budget deck. I did throw in Demonic Tutor, Sheoldred Whispering One, those are kind of expensive cards, but I usually pass up on things like Verdant Catacombs, anything that's just expensive without really adding much else to the deck. So I'd say it's about the middle of the road in terms of price range for this kind of deck. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Void here signing off. See you all next video.